They called her Snow White because she was born from blood, snow, and shadow. This isn't just a story about a jealous queen. It's about the inner war between beauty and vanity, truth and illusion, innocence and awakening. This is the tale of how a girl died before she ever lived, and how she rose again with the wisdom of the woods in her bones. Once upon a time, in the depth of winter, a queen pricked her finger and watched her blood fall on the snow. She whispered her wish. "I want a child with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as night." But what she was really calling for was a soul of contrast. Snow White was born, a symbol of divine innocence, purity, and shadow potential. Her skin bore the imprint of duality, a balance of life and death, seen and unseen. Her mother died shortly after childbirth. Because this kind of soul doesn't come into the world gently, the new queen was beautiful but hollow. Her mirror, enchanted, yes, but also symbolic. The mirror didn't lie. It reflected more than appearances. It revealed who held the most energetic power. When Snow White became of age, the mirror changed its answer. "You, my queen, are fair, but Snow White is the fairest of them all." But this wasn't about looks, it was about resonance. Snow White's inner light, her purity of heart and soul, was beginning to shine, and it terrified the queen, who clung to her beauty like a mask. So she did what many do when faced with the mirror of truth. She tried to destroy the reflection. Snow White fled into the forest, a place that represents the unconscious, the unknown, the sacred wild. There she encounters the 7 dwarfs. But these aren't just quirky minors. In ancient symbolism, they represent the 7 aspects of self, or even the 7 chakras. 1. Survival, root. 2. Pleasure, sacral. 3. Willpower, solar plexus. 4. Love, heart. 5. Truth, throat. 6. Vision, third eye. 7. Spiritual awakening, crown. Each dwarf, in their strange and earthy way, helps Snow White integrate parts of herself. In caring for them, she also learns to care for herself. But the queen isn't done, because the ego doesn't die easy. The queen returns in disguise 3 times, each representing temptation, illusion, and manipulation. But it's the apple that finally works. One half is red, the other white. Duality again. The apple represents forbidden knowledge, death, and awakening, echoing the story of Eve. When Snow White takes a bite, she dies. But it's not a physical death, it's a symbolic one. She enters a spiritual coma, frozen between girlhood and womanhood, naivety and wisdom, surface beauty and inner truth. She lies in a glass coffin, perfectly preserved, untouchable, unawakened, until a prince arrives, not to save her, but to witness her truth. His kiss is not romantic, it is a symbol of sacred recognition, a moment of spiritual mirroring, where love acknowledges the soul behind the illusion. Snow White awakens, not just from sleep, but from spiritual amnesia. She rises whole, aware, powerful. And the queen? She is forced to dance herself to death in red-hot iron shoes, a punishment that symbolizes the consuming fire of her own rage, vanity, and resistance to truth. Snow White's beauty didn't save her. Her light didn't protect her. It was her death, her surrender to shadow, that made her whole. Because every soul must one day face the mirror and choose whether to break it or become it.